John 3:16 is arguably one of the best known verses in the New Testament. And today I want to direct your attention to John chapter 3 verses 16 through 21 because this is a very important passage that combines some key thematic words that we find in the fourth gospel. And those words are believe and light. And I want to point out that for John, the movement of faith, you remember yesterday I talked about how believe occurs 79 times, and it's always a verb, it's an action word. And that's because for John, movement of faith is always towards the light. It's always toward God. And so after John 3:16, those famous words about God so loving the world and gave his son so that everyone who believes in him may not perish but may have eternal life, then it goes on to then talk about light and darkness once again. And verse 19 says, "And this is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and people loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil." I'm just going to read the next verse too. "For all who do evil hate the light, and do not come to the light, so that their deeds may not be exposed. But those who do what is true come to the light, so that it may be clearly seen that their deeds are done in God." And so John 3:16, again echoing the prologue, the light, who is Jesus, has come into the world. And basically John is saying, here comes this light into the world. And what does light do? Light exposes what's in front of it. I don't know how the light comes into your house, but the orientation of our house is such that if I'm sitting just like this at the end of our table where I have my quiet time and my devotions every morning, where I eat my breakfast, where I have my meals, I'm looking straight through our dining room and living room towards a bay window which faces east, where the sun rises. And so during the year I watch the sun move as it comes up at the winter solstice on December 21st. It comes up right across the street from our neighbor's garage, and by June it comes up 3 houses down the street. It's really amazing. But my point about light is at certain times of the year the light comes in a different way, and it hits the floor, and all of a sudden you can see all the dirt, right? You see all the dust and the hairs and the little dust bunnies and all that stuff. And when it was dark you couldn't see that. But boy, when the sun hits it, you see everything. And that's what John is saying with Jesus. The true light has come into the world, and it exposes or reveals the deeds of all of us. And our deeds reflect whether we are living in the light or not. Whether our deeds, in John's words, have been done in God. And for John, that's 2 levels. One, it's coming to and believing in Jesus, but that coming and believing in Jesus and trusting him means we live the way he tells us to live. And so people are always revealing whether they're living in the light or not by how they speak, how they act, how they treat other people. And it's embarrassing because often you see people who have very public roles or exposure in the media, and their behavior and their speech is embarrassing, frankly. And you wonder, why can't they see it? Because in the light, it's obvious. So may you live today so that your deeds, your speech, your actions, how you treat other people can clearly show that you are living in the light and you are doing the deeds that God calls us to do.